Hello my delicious people. So, today we're doing a lunch with Gena. This is the third take, by the way. So, I want to talk about something very interesting. There's two things, actually. I'll probably keep the examples to a minimum, because each and every time I had to redo this, I just kept putting on example after example, so I'll probably keep it to maybe 2, or maybe 4. I don't know, whenever I get to the 4th one, I do kind of forget that I promised myself that I would do this. Essentially, I'm going to be talking about two things today. It's going to be a famous quote by Todd Howard. It just works. Does it? And the second one is this. I'm going to be talking about how meta can be good, but also can be really bad. But the reasoning is... So let's start off with... the situation I call it just doesn't work. Essentially, I'll be poking at a character that I really love. It's my favorite character in all of gaming. In Warframe, which is one of my favorite games. I do have another one, but it's a little bit pending just because it is a bit new. I don't know if I'm going to keep returning to this game. But yes, Ureli has this situation. The character, Ureli, has this situation where she is one of the top 10 most powerful weapons platform warframes. Essentially, the characters are called warframes. It's a little bit of a thing. But essentially, if you build her for a weapons platform, she's extremely powerful, almost broken. But you run into a situation where her mechanic came out very broken itself, but in a bad way. The reason why is because if you were to turn on the ability, it would break your game. Even in solo. Nowadays, solo is basically a place where you can be safe from there. And everything else is just your ping being really bad. And just causing 1 of 5 currently active glitches. Which is pretty bad. They're pretty bad glitches, but apparently they're gonna gut the code and replace it. Essentially with that situation, she's very powerful, but that doesn't matter. The fact is, her mechanic doesn't work. That's a bit of a bad thing, right? And here's the thing. That's what I basically believe. Is power doesn't matter. It just... whether or not it works. Because some of the most favorite characters of some people are actually the squishiest, least powerful characters. But the fact that they fix into their purpose managed to make it to where they're usable. And so therefore, they are someone's favorite, right? I'm gonna poke a little bit of fun to a game I haven't played yet, but I've seen a lot of bad things about it. It's Starfield. Starfield has a situation where it's supposed to reward exploration. It's a Bethesda game. Reward exploration is its thing. Not necessarily power or anything like that. It's, do you go somewhere and you see something or get something that you really want? No, you don't. Apparently, that's the problem. It's not, oh, you can't play going around the planet. It's more of, I'd rather not explore the whole planet because there's nothing here. And it's like, oh, when it comes to the weapons, there's not very many weapons. From what I have heard, it's all just variants of the same type of weapon. A laser shotgun is the only type of laser weapon they have, and then you have I think it's called a plasma weapon. I think it's called plasma, I could be wrong. Essentially, the plasma weapons have a couple varieties, but it's only like a few. And then you got the ballistics, or kinetic weapons, that essentially say, I'm gonna do like most of the things, but I'm also gonna be quite shit. And then the melee weapons have no variety. So why change your melee weapon? Gameplay is extremely important. However, what I think is also very important is if you do the thing you promised. Essentially, you bring out a game that rewards exploration, and then you reward exploration. The most fun that I've seen people have is playing an evil character and just shooting things. Like no other thing that you do, you just shoot things. That's what some people are saying is the funnest with that. That might be an issue. Oh, the companions are really nice. Yeah, they're nice, but some people want evil companions. From what I have heard from somebody, they essentially don't have bad boys or bad girls or shit. If you want to go with robots, dude, give us a killer robot that just happens to like us. You know? I mean, I would like that. I mean, even if it were to be not a waifu, it's a robot. I fucking love robots. Oh, and plants. But I don't think they're gonna have a plant, which is unfortunate. Oh yeah, and lizards. I fucking love lizards. Anyway, let me not get too much off track. When you want to see something that is essentially a good version of this, look no further than Exoprimal. Exoprimal has a situation where they came out with variants. Well, here's the thing. They're variants. They trade one thing and give you another. The reason why they're better, sometimes, is due to the fact that it mixes well with someone else's playstyle. I'm actually really bad with my favorite one, which is, Nimbus. Because I have a situation where I can't really hit my shots. But, you give me a shotgun, and I am really, really good. However, Nimbus's range is a lot better, so basically I can snipe the ranged dinosaurs. So essentially I'm trading the ability to snipe ranged dinosaurs for the ability to do more damage and healing. But I focus on healing and boss burning anyway. I don't really snipe things because I have to pay attention to the team, and they're burning bosses. I have to have somebody else do the sniping, which I hope you do more if you ever play with me, because, you know, I've been running in a situation where I have a shotgun and I can't take out the dinosaur. Please, please shoot at the dinosaur that is shooting lasers at me. They one-shot me. Anyway, let me not rant too much. When you go into a situation where, oh, is there another example of games that work? Yeah. You go to God of War Ragnarok and you say, this is a story of this god learning to become human, and also the fact that all of these abilities have a purpose, and they all do that purpose specifically, to a point where people want to do builds that have that ability mixed in just because it does this specific thing. That's really good. The combat in that is extremely well made. Essentially, it's one of the best multiplayer game, single player games I know of. When it comes to other examples, I'll probably stop right there, because you know it's getting a little bit too too much about the mechanics not working and stuff. So I'll basically summarize it for a bit. Essentially, I like it when mechanics work, but it doesn't need to be very powerful. It doesn't need to be very deep either. It just needs to do what it promises. A broken promise is actually what the problem is. It's not exactly, hey, is it powerful? Is it weak? Does it change up the game? Does it provide value? Well, I say it changes up the game and it provides value if it does what it promises. That's what it is. It doesn't even have to be powerful. So, when it comes to the other thing, speaking of power, I will say this. Meta is actually a little bit different in my mind than you would think. I don't hate meta. The problem with meta I have is not, oh, is it a simple meta? Oh, is it a complicated meta? That's a little bit different for me. I don't like it when a meta is so much of a difference that there's no use doing other options. It's like, oh, you do off meta, so you basically do, where you take one thing and make it, like, super powerful. Yeah, I do that. But herein lies the problem. Take, Overwatch, for example. The reason why you only see one or two teams that are basically you swap out one character for another, and basically the rest of it is exactly the same, is because when it comes to team composition, there's a certain situation where there's a team that just is not beatable if you are skilled with it. No matter how skilled you are, sometimes it's just the team comp is just better than yours. It's like the balance is in a way that seems to benefit more characters that are the same characters all the time than a different composition per map, which is a bit of a problem. Especially since like you have those things where it's like there's a one trick or a person who only plays one character. Well, sometimes they're really good with a character, but sometimes without a certain team member or a certain group of team members, sometimes you will never win, no matter how much of a one trick you are, no matter how skilled they are. If your team composition is bad, it's not great. But there's only one or two compositions that literally just swap out one character that that are viable in like competitive scenes. That's why you see them so much. When it comes to another bad meta, essentially, when you look at Warframe, actually, my favorite game and one of my favorites. Oh, sorry. My favorite, one of my least favorite characters is Wukong. I will say right now, Wukong is a bad example of meta. The reason why is not, oh, it's like easy to get his power, or it's, oh, it's like difficult to get his power. It's the fact that his power is such a huge difference from everybody else. You literally hit one button and then you basically tape your forward key down, and then you just kind of sort of just go masturbate. Like legitimately, you could do the Asmongold challenge while you're doing something. And who knows, you could also like purposely fail it by just making it really, really rough and really, really loud. And I'm gonna say right now I've experienced that one of the last times I've had my headphones on and mic on basically, there was somebody masturbating in my ear. I didn't like that. That's supposed to be a private moment. You don't do that with me. I'm sorry. So, another bad example is actually Paladins. Weird how a lot of team games are like this. Essentially, I don't know what her name is, but there's a ghost lady who essentially had so much damage and so much movement and so much like she was supposed to be an addition, not a replacement for every single character in the game. Essentially, she was so powerful and so easy to use that she was a huge problem. Her power was so extremely extreme that they had to nerf her so badly that she isn't recoverable. Essentially, it's a mechanic-based problem, and they nerfed her numbers-based and mechanically, not just mechanically. So that became a huge issue, even with the people who wanted to nerf. Some people hate her so much that they want it to be a thing, and they also wish bad things on the actual players who play her, which I think is fucking cringe. So don't be doing that. But yeah, essentially, it's another hated character, but from a completely different situation than Urale. But it's somewhat similar. Essentially, she's a little bit of both. A bad meta that didn't do what it was supposed to do. So, to summarize the bad metas, I will simply say this. If a meta is complicated, it's fine. If a meta is easy, it's fine. But if a meta is such a huge difference that you might as well not choose a different thing, well, that's a huge problem. Because why would you choose anything else? Especially when it comes to a Warframe situation where every single character is contending with someone who's so powerful that there's nothing you can do to contend with it, except for make mechanics that specifically counter them, that makes every single other character not good. I'm looking at you, Revenant. You're a fucking menace. Anyway, I hope it was entertaining, and remember to have wonderful, wonderful nightmares. I will see you in them, and if you're watching my content, I know you're into it. Honey, honey. Mwah. Good night.
where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be.